yes, fighting is harder, but no solution. Hey, you Rastaman, hey, European, Indian.
Yes, we're bringing you the legal matters today. We are going to be talking about
Indiana man, we gotta come together as one. Hey, you Rastaman, hey, European, hey, you Chinese man, we gotta come together as one. Check.
Hi, my name is Daisuke Shimema, owner of Hana Restaurant. Is it important for me to
shut up, 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 shut up. Freedom. 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 Shut up, 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 shut up.
My name is Shatta Wale.
Freedom. 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 Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Freedom. 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 Shut up, 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 shut up. Freedom. 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 Shut up, 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 shut up.
My name is Shatta Wale.
Freedom. 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 Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Freedom. 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 Shut up, 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 shut up. Freedom. 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 Shut up, shut up, shut up.
That's right. Thank you very much for joining us this morning from the studios of Fire Life Radio. This is Legal Matters. We are bringing you the Legal Matters today. We are going to be talking about immigration law update in the UK, as well as employment law update.
Shut up, shut up.
It is going to be very, very fascinating.
Shut up, shut up. Freedom. Freedom.
Yes, Akoto baby, I will be a chia.
Freedom. Shut up.
Mr. Akoto baby, I will be a chia and anope.
Shut up, shut up, shut up.
Mr. Apreku baby, I will be a chia.
My name is Shatta Wale.
Yes, all those who have joined us, we also thank you for tuning in. This is Fire Life Radio. We're bringing you the legal matters this morning, wherever you are. Today, we are going to look at updates, i.e. immigration and nationality law update in the UK. What you have to be aware of, what is coming, and what you need to do to secure and protect your interest. So by all means, tune in, share the program once you join us to all your Facebook family, and also put it on your wall so that people can also benefit. For the past week or so, a lot of people have told us that when they come from night, they are so shattered that they are unable to wake up in the morning, and as a result, they do listen to the program at a later time. So if you are one of those people, by all means, we do understand. As long as you make the time to then go back and basically listen, of course it will help you. Today there are so many things that we are going to look at, so I think it's very, very important that we are patient and listen to what is coming. Especially there has been an allegation against the Home Office in relation to racial bias and racism against Africans, especially when it comes to visitors application. Sometimes the reasons that are being given by the Home Office is beyond this earth. You look at the reasons and it make no sense at all, and sometimes you wonder what is going on. UK Parliament Select Committee, they've come up with a serious challenge to the Home Office in relation to how this sort of decisions are having a bad relations with African countries and African leaders. So we will also look at that as well, and we will look at common reasons that the Home Office normally use to justify refusal of applications and what you can do about it. We talked about this last week. Last week we looked at it from legal point of view. This morning we are going to look at it from travel travel companies, their point of view and what they have also discovered, so that when we put the two together, it will help us in the future perhaps to avoid some of these problems and some of these issues. We will also look at working too much and stopping someone basically obtaining citizenship in France. This is someone who is I think a nurse, and trying to the person apply for French citizenship. The application was refused on the basis that she was working too much. Someone will say, this is crazy, this makes no sense. If someone is working, the person is paying taxes and national insurance, so why is the person being punished for working too much? Then again, legally, we will look at the working time regulations, the working time directives, and the fact that you have to work a week certain hours, which in my mind I think it should not be more than 48 hours. In this country, I think our hours was about 38-39, which is a full time, and then when you can go a bit over to about 48, and when you are going beyond 48, that's where even your contracted time, you have to contract out of the working time directive. The reasons behind it, we will explore all that. So maybe when people hear it, it sounds like, wow, someone is working and the person is being punished for working and making positive contribution. This is not right. Why is that the case? We will look at that and maybe see from legal point of view and also practical point of view why they made such decision. We will look at that as well. Thank you very much. 40 hours per week. Okay, some say 39. Okay, on top of my head I cannot remember, but I know that it's around 38, 39, 40, around the figure. If you are going to work more than that hours, then of course you need to sign a disclaimer that you have decided to work out of the working time directives, and therefore you should be allowed to do more hours. We will look at that as well. We will also be looking at employment law in the UK, update of employment law in the UK. Also, we will look at certain types of applications that you can request for reconsideration. We will look at that as well. We will look at how far back can you claim holiday pay. Court of Appeal has made a decision. As we all know, you work for an employer. The employer will tell you that if you don't take your holiday this year and the following year starts, you will lose your holidays. And sometimes people are forced to take their holidays last minute. Sometimes people get lucky that the employer, out of maybe respect and out of decency, may decide to pay them anyway. So if you work for certain companies, they will tell you that you need to try and work out your holiday schedule in advance, so that you can book in advance and take your 4 weeks or the 5 weeks holidays within the year. If you don't, and basically you roll over to the following year, then of course you are going to experience problems, in the sense that some of the employers will not allow that to happen. Court of Appeal has made a decision. We will look at that. We will also look at Brexit. What has happened this week? We have the potential Prime Minister by the name of Boris Johnson. Some people say Donald Trump number 2. Someone even say Mr. Kipper. He was making a speech and he using Kipper as an analogy, and now people are trying to call him Kipper. So be careful what you use as an analogy. We will look at that as well. And possible Gina Miller 2 against future Boris Johnson government, and the proroguing Parliament and the House of Commons, and also the indicative vote that happened this week. We will look at all that as we go along. Now, we will start with what has happened in France. The person working too much and the person being punished. His application for naturalization has been suspended for 2 years. The reason being that she was working too much. We will come to that. So bear with us, and the program will soon start.
Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Freedom, 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 freedom. Shut up, 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 shut up.
My name is Shatta Wale.
Freedom, freedom, freedom. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Freedom, 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 freedom. Shut up, 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 shut up. Freedom, 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 freedom. Shut up, 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 shut up.
My name is Shatta Wale.
Freedom, freedom, freedom.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us. We thank you all for your time. We also thank you for your support over the years, and we also thank you for your continuous support. By His grace, we are all doing well. Madam Pastor Reverend Doris Obusi, thank you for joining us. Mame Sewa Breketu, thank you for joining us. Patience Osei, thank you for joining us. Vim Lady, also thank you for joining us. Ekuya Owusua, thank you for joining us. DJ Mahama Bakope, we thank you for joining us and for all the hard work that you're doing at the studios of Fire Life Radio. Gawuga, also thank you for joining us. All those who have tuned in, we will encourage you, we will ask that you share the program, put it on your Facebook wall so that people can also benefit from today's program, because it's very, very important that we learn as we go along. Every time that there is something to be learned, then of course we need to make the conscious effort and learn something from what is happening to others, so that we make sure that we don't fall into the same trap. So let's start. This is the immigration update. This week, according to the Telegraph of the 18th of the 7th, 2019, it has been reported as follows. France has rejected an immigrant nurse application for citizenship on the grounds that she works too many hours a week, in breach of the statutory limit of 35 hours a week and strict limits on overtime. The nurse, whose name and nationality have not been made public, holds 3 jobs, and on average she works 59 hours a week, which the authorities said placed her in violation of regulations on working time in France. The 35-hour rule introduced under the socialist government in 2000 gave France one of the world's shortest working weeks, but it has since been loosened, and employees may be permitted to work up to 48 hours a week, including overtime. This name there, people have to help me here because it's written in French, but I will do the best that I can. I say the prefecture in Val-de-Marne near Paris said in a letter, I assume that is their home office. The prefecture in Val-de-Marne near Paris said in a letter to the nurse that it was postponing her naturalization application for 2 years to give her the time so that she can abide by the law and work a maximum of 48 hours for 2 years, so that she can then qualify for French citizenship.
So how many years was she working?
I mean, she's been working. They have not stated the number of hours that the number of years that she's been working, but I assume that French law, possibly, they will look at the past 2 years as to whether you have breached their laws. And therefore, in this case, what they've said to her is that they are going to suspend the application for 2 years for her to correct herself, so that when she come back again in 2 years' time, they will then be able to issue the citizenship to her. Because at the moment, she's working 3 jobs, doing 59 hours a week, instead of a maximum of 48 hours a week. And therefore, she has breached the French law. And therefore, as we know, if you breach the laws of a country and it comes to naturalization, character, conduct also plays a role. Let's come back to the UK, because people have similar issues whereby someone may have breached immigration rules within the last 10 years. And therefore, if you make an application today, knowing that 6 years ago you were living here illegally, your application for naturalization will be refused on the basis of character, because we have the character test in which you must pass, i.e., you must be free from immigration control and you must not have breached the immigration rules 10 years prior to the application. And therefore, it is important, it's vital that you do what? That you make sure that before you put in the application, you are able to satisfy all the necessary requirements. We go back to France, this woman's case. A lot of people will be thinking, this is crazy, because at the end of the day, the more she's working, the more she's paying taxes, the more she's paying national insurance. Is it not a good thing? Why is it that, the woman is being punished in a way? So thank you very much. Yes, it's the same as the home office. La Préfecture. Hey, I say more. My French is as bad as it can be. At least, I hope that the pronunciation is a bit close. But what can I say? When I went to school, I did not take my French serious, and that's the price that I'm paying now. Never mind. So when you go to school, you take everything serious. So basically, this woman's application has been suspended for 2 years. The reality is this: if you are living in a country, ignorance of the law is no excuse. You must respect the laws of the country. It's as simple as that. If you don't, one way or the other, you are going to be punished. You can argue all that you want about the decision. The reality is that she did not obey the law. Whether it was a good thing or a bad thing, she should have respected the law, which in this case, she did not. And therefore, that is the price to pay. Whilst, the person may probably need the money, whilst the taxman will be making money by way of taxes and national insurance from her wages, the sad reality is that you must respect the law wherever you are. In this case, she did not respect the law, or she breached the law, and therefore the application has been suspended. Right or wrong, the law is the law. Law and morality are two different things, and therefore we must not try to put the two together because it doesn't work. Whilst it is true that in some cases our morality can also reflect the way laws are made, if it is the law, it is the law. No morality issue comes into the equation. So all that I would say is this: unfortunately, this application has been refused. I will also say this to our brothers and sisters: many times, if you don't have papers and you have a child, and you are going to register the birth of your child, this is a giveaway. If you are unemployed, yes,
This woman, her application has been suspended
yes,
for 2 years. So within that 2 years, would they give her a 2 years visa to stay, because she would then become illegal?
I mean, basically, before you can apply for naturalization, you must have your indefinite leave to remain.
Oh,
you
okay.
see.
Okay.
And then the next step
Okay.
would then be naturalization.
Oh, okay.
So what they are saying is that they are suspending the application for naturalization
Okay.
as a French citizen.
But she's got her
But
stay.
she's got her stay.
Okay.
And therefore, within that 2 years, all that she's got to do is to make sure that she complies with the
With
law,
the law. Okay.
and work a maximum of 48 hours as permitted under French law. Once you do that,
Okay.
you will not have any problems.
Okay.
But the problem is, people don't want to do that. Maybe she needs the money, but at the same time, unfortunately,
But you have to apply the law.
you have to obey the law, because
I mean,
if
once
you
you've got your naturalization, you can then go and do whatever you want to do.
still she'll be breaking the law. So it's important that we respect
okay.
the law.
Oh, I see.
Only that maybe they are not so hard on it when people kind of work more, because the person may need the money.
Then I believe people in this country also have to know, because many of us may possibly be breaking the law without knowing.
Without knowing, yes, it is true. But this country, the reality is that the employers also look out for the employee. The reason is that when you are going to do more than 48 hours, the employer will give you something called the the opt-out forms, because the working time directive say that you need to do a maximum of 48 hours.
Okay.
You see,
So-
and this country, our full time is how many hours? 38 hours. And then you deduct your breaks,
Yeah.
to bring it to about 35.5 or something to that effect. And then if you are going to do more hours, they will give you the opt-out. And then you will sign that I'm opting out from my own free will. That I'm opting out, I want to do more hours.
Okay.
And then they will allow you to do more hours. This country, we haven't put any restriction that it shouldn't be more than this hours or that hours.
Okay.
Once you opt out and you think you are fit, you are capable of working more hours, you'll be allowed to do more hours.
Right.
So French have a similar issue, but the French one, they have put a maximum cap of 30 hours. sorry, 48 hours.
Okay.
And therefore, the 48 hours, as they say in the Western world, is one of the most, socialist propaganda or belief system that people should have life.
Yes.
People should not be working non-stop and everything is work. They should have social life. So in this country, a lot of people will say that there's a lot of money in this country, but people are not happy because all the time it's a matter of, if you like, people are working and they are tired, they don't think straight. And also, if someone is a nurse and the person is tired, what do you think is going to happen? The person might end up misdiagnosing someone, probably killing someone for wrong decisions, because it's a belief that if you are tired, you tend to make wrong decisions. So it's very, very important that we do what maybe we also understand it from the French point of view. Every country have their own laws, and for me, as odd as it may sound, they have their reasons for doing so, because they also have to protect this person from herself. Because some people, because of the fact that they need the money so bad, they will not even think about their health. They will just go and push and push and push until they drop and they die, or until they suffer from serious disability. If that happens, it becomes the state's headache. Because imagine this person becomes working so hard that the person becomes disabled. The state have to pay disability allowance. That the state have to provide for this person, and therefore the state is also under an obligation to regulate human behavior and also provide care to those people in this situation. So that is I think the counter argument that one can also place on, basically can also raise in respect to this particular scenario. So sometimes it may sound odd, it may sound ridiculous as to why certain laws are there, but sometimes it's also there to protect us, to protect everyone. So I would say that that is the French side. Here we have similar laws when you are going to do application for naturalization. These days, since 2016, December 2016, the definition of character, even the character, is not defined by law, but is defined by Home Office policy. And in fact, there is no specific definition of character. All that the Home Office is saying is this: if you are making an application for naturalization, they need to look at the past 10 years, your character, even now, including your children's character, whether your inclusion to become a British citizen is good for the public good. So if there is question mark against your character, that is sufficient reasons for the Home Office to refuse your application for naturalization. Unfortunately, a lot of people have suffered as a result, and I'm going to give some examples, and I hope with these examples, we will learn from this, because sometimes, when it happens to someone, you start thinking, wow, this is ridiculous, this is not acceptable. And people will be shocked about this example that I was going to give, because when the person came to me, I was very shocked. I was very, very surprised, that they did this to this person. And this is what happened.
But the law is the law.
The law is the law.
Because even not my first perception when you said about this lady who was refused to go back and reapply it in 2 years' time was, how can they stupidly make this?
Exactly.
But from your explanation now,
it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yes.
Because the law is the law.
The law is the law. So
there's nothing you can do. You just have to
respect the law.
Respect the law. It's as simple as that. Although you are contributing, you are making me more money, but you are breaking the law.
You are breaking the law. So it is very, very important that wherever we are, we need to know the law, respect the law, so that when we do applications, we are not punished as a result. So this woman, she even got lucky because they did not refuse the application, but what they've done is to suspend the application, so that she can go and correct her errors. 2 years time, come back again. If you be working 48 hours maximum, then we can then issue your visa to you. So that is her story. In this country, I said I was going to give an example And the example that I'm talking about, our people really need to pay attention to this, because for me, it's just a matter of time before it catch up. Because it's happened to 1 or 2 people, which I was very, very surprised about. This is a gentleman who did application for naturalization. The naturalization application was refused on the basis that on his child's birth certificate, there is a column that they ask about his occupation, and he wrote a taxi driver on the birth certificate. When he was submitting his application for naturalization, what did he do? He added his son's birth certificate. And unfortunate for him, during the time of his child's birth, he was living in the UK illegally. And therefore, when he came to the registration of the child's birth and he was asked about his occupation, he did not think for 1 minute that this could become a problem. So he just told them that I am a taxi driver. So they wrote a taxi driver. When his naturalization application went to the Home Office interpreted that to mean that at the time of his child's birth and the registration of birth, he was working as a taxi driver. Meanwhile, at that particular time, he did not have a stay in this country, and therefore he was breaching the immigration rules. And for that reason, the character is being questioned. And therefore, for the past 10 years, he did not have papers. Not only that, also he was working illegally. And therefore, what they said is that at that particular time, he shown no disregard to the immigration rules. And for that reason, the application for naturalization was refused. So if you are watching me today, if you are listening today, you are illegal, you are not working, and you are going to register your child's birth today or from today going, I think it's probably best to say that you are unemployed, so that unemployed goes on your child's birth certificate to show that at the time of the child's birth you were unemployed. Because if you just go and put any profession down, sometimes people think that if they don't put anything down, they will look odd. Even though they are not working, they are not supposed to work. Some of them will put engineer, some of them will put pilot, and these things can be used against you, because there is no point just putting something down. Don't think it may not have consequences. So you have to be very, very aware of these things. It's a matter of time before, even if you are making an application on human rights, because your child is British, and when you are going to register the child, you know that you are illegal, you know that you don't work, you know that you are not supposed to work, and you go and put any title down, any profession down, that you are pharmacy, you are chemist, you are this, you are that, and you know that you don't have papers. It can be interpreted as that at the time of the registration of the child's birth, you were working. And therefore, as we know, when you do application for leave to remain on the basis of private life and family life, we all know that there is something called suitability test. The suitability test is just like the character test. They can then use that possibly to refuse your application. So people have to wake up to this and be aware of this. It's very, very important. Now let's move on to the second update. MPs say embarrassing and insulting UK visa system damages Africa relationship. This was published in the Guardian newspapers on the 17th of July 2019, which was Wednesday. And this is what it says. Cross-party inquiry finds people from African countries often perceive reasons given for failed applications as biased and discriminatory. British MPs have warned that the UK visitor visa system is broken and doing severe damage to UK Africa relations. The problems faced by experts trying to visit the UK are so widespread that many Africans believe the Home Office to be prejudiced against them and deliberately trying to reduce visitors' numbers. After 6 months taking evidence from people working across a range of sectors, cross-party parliamentary groups for Africa, Malawi, and the diaspora development and migration report that UK visitors visa are inaccessible to many Africans and are resourced, unaccountable, and widely perceived as bias or even discriminating against Africans. Labour MP Chi Ongura, chair of the All-Party Group for Africa, said, at a time when the UK needs to be open for business, the broken visa system is doing severe damage to UK-Africa relations across a variety of sectors. It is embarrassing, patronizing, and insulting to Africans and leaves the slogan of Global Britain empty and meaningless. Many of those who gave evidence felt UK VI system in Africa look to place barriers and impediments in the way of applicants in order to deliberately decrease the number of applications received as more and more people are put off visiting the UK. In one case, senior producers at a London International Festival or theatre told the committee that they were unable to bring a dancer from the Congo to perform his personal experience of the Civil War. The reason given for the refusal was that they had not done enough to recruit dancers from the UK for the role. One problem faced by visa applicants was being required to travel to hundreds of miles simply to apply for a visa. Another was financial discrimination, such as people being rejected because they don't have enough money in their bank accounts. This was given as a refusal reason even where all expenses were being paid by British sponsors. The lack of appeal system was also cited as a major problem, meaning that the only way to challenge refusal is to begin again with a costly new application. There are dedicated centers both for visitors application, which have to be made in person, and the consideration of request. Since 2007, when this system was put in place, the UK government has closed visa section in high commissions and embassies. So it goes on and on and on and on. The reasons that sometimes are given, some will say, are pathetic. Let's look at some of the reasons. This was by a travel agency organization, and some of the reasons that they have discovered. So it will be interesting to see what they also have to say. The sad thing is the cancellation of the right of appeal for visitors' application. In fact, is giving Home Office too much powers, because in some cases they simply tell you that I don't believe you. So it is not what it is. It is what the person feel. No matter what you you produce, they can still come back and say that I don't believe you, and that means you have to do what? You have to reapply again. And in some cases, unfortunately, you may have to go back and apply for maybe threaten them with judicial review if there is human rights sort of angle that you can see to argue your case. So it's very, very important that we are aware of this, and when you are going to do applications, you take all this into considerations in making or doing your applications. We will look at that and see what these people are also telling us. One, we will look at reasons for refusals and how to overcome them. From this research, the first one that they saw was long itinerary. Where, for example, you see, this is sometimes the problem that we have. sometimes when we are inviting people to come in, we are looking at the cost of it. And we say to ourselves, why should I spend about £1,000 for a family member to come to the UK for only 2 weeks? So instead, we want them to stay for longer, thinking that at least it will be justified based on the amount of money
you spend
that we are spending. Unfortunately, this research by a company called Visa Traveler did find that the Home Office will use that as an excuse to refuse an application. Why is that the case? So, for example, you have your mother maybe doing her own business in Ghana, and you say you are inviting your mother to come and stay in the UK for 5 months. Automatically, they start thinking, if the person is running her own business,
why would they come in for 5 months?
Leave her business and come and stay here for 5 months for what? Is the person coming to the UK to work? Is the person coming to UK to do something else rather than what she says that she's going to do? So straight away, it start raising question marks and justification as to how such applications should be refused by the entry clearance officer. So what do? If you give the person reasonable invitation period, then it limits the opportunity in which the Home Office can capitalize on to refuse such an application. So, for example, if the person is a student and the person is coming, of course, if the person is coming during the long vacation and this person is coming to spend a reasonable time, then of course everyone can understand that. So, for example, the person is on vacation for about 3 months, and you decide to invite the person for 1 month. It will make sense. But if the person is on vacation for 3 months, and you say the person should come and spend 4 months, or the exact 3 months in this country, it will be a bit awkward, Kakra, because they will look at it and they're going to start thinking, hold on, if the person has got 3 months holidays and his person is coming to spend 4 months, then that means the person is probably not going to go back, because if really you are going to go back to school, you have to go back before the school actually opens and readjust to your life. And therefore, if you give the person a month or 2 months, then at least it will make sense in that way. So this is something that we need to be aware of. The second point that they find in their research is that unclear itinerary, where the person is not specific about how long the person is coming to spend in the UK. If you are unclear, it shows that you don't know what you are doing, or your intentions are not very, very clear, and therefore they can also use that to refuse your application. So it is very, very vital, very important that when you are submitting application for UK visa, for visitors visas, you do what? You are specific, you are very clear, and it should be detailed. So if you have a school writing a supporting letter, the school have to be specific that the school, it will be on vacation from such a time to such a time. They understand the applicant is coming from such a time to such a time and return back to school. Because if you are able to be specific and detailed about your travel plans and the number of days that you are coming to spend in the UK, once again, it will help reduce the doubt that the entry clearance officer could also have to justify refusal of your applications. It's very, very important that we are aware of this. The third one that they did find was lack of leave approval letter. The person will say, I'm self-employed. The person will say, I am working for someone. But yet, the person will not bring any proof that the person has been released to come for that holiday. That becomes problematic. If you are self-employed, you are your own boss, and therefore your business, Home Office want to know whether you have made arrangement for someone to look after your business for you. If so, has the person given evidence to support that he has agreed to look after your business for you for the duration of your visit in the UK? If you are able to get that, then of course it will also reduces the doubts that they may have in terms of refusing your application. The fourth one was lack of salary deposit in your bank account. Someone will come to you. I want to invite my cousin to visit me in the UK. You ask, is your cousin working? Oh yes, of course, my cousin is working. Will your cousin be able to get a letter, bank statement, pay slips to show that he's actually working, he's been given time off for this holiday, and that he is earning money? The answer is yes. And then when you look at the documents, the answer is no. In such situation, do not bother yourself. The person is not ready. Because if you are really ready, you need to be able to demonstrate that there is consistency in your story. If you say you are working for company A for 2 weeks, you need to be paid, and therefore 2 weeks money goes into your bank account, and this is reflected on your pay slips. If you have that, it helps, so that any doubt that the person may have, it will disappear. Not only that, depositing monies into accounts. Do not allow anyone just to throw money in your accounts, because if you do that, then of course it's a reason to suspect that the money is being put in for the purposes of deceiving the entry clearance officer that you have money. So this is something that they don't like. As soon as they see that, they are simply going to refuse your money. And even if you have large deposits, 5, which large undocumented deposits in your bank account, many people, as soon as they say that I'm inviting someone, the person start throwing money into his bank account without any source. They cannot trace the money, and Home Office will be gladly to refuse the application on the basis that large credits have been made which are in excess of your stated monthly income. The sources of it cannot be traced, and therefore they will say that I am not satisfied with the origin of these funds, or that they are genuinely available to you. It may well be the case that maybe you have inherited large sums of money. If that is the case, you need to have the source of the money and show it to them to prove that in fact you are able to prove or demonstrate that the money comes from a legitimate source. These days you have money laundering going on, where people are depositing monies in other people's account, leading to all sorts of problems. So you have to be very, very careful about this. 6, exhausting all your savings or spending several times your monthly income. So for example, you the applicant, you're saying that you have been able to save about say £4,000. I didn't know this until I read this article. What this article is suggesting to me is this: if you have saved about £4,000 in your bank account, and you tell the Home Office that you are coming to spend more than half of it on your holiday, straight away they start doubting you. Even though it's your own money, straight away they start doubting you. If you say you are coming to spend all of the money, they doubt you. So what this has suggested is this: if you say you are spending 1/3 of your savings, normally they are comfortable with it. But if you say you are spending half or more than half of it, they start thinking that you are just making it up. You are exaggerating, because their thinking is that why would you just come and spend this money on your holiday, taking into consideration that based on your income, it's probably taking you about 5 years to spend this money, to save this money, and all of a sudden you say that you are coming to spend this large sums of your income on a holiday. In that case, they can also doubt you. So whilst it is not right, it is not fair, you just need to look at what is expected of you and make sure that you are able to fulfill the expectation in order to get a visa. Let's go to number 7, lack of travel history. If you have never traveled, Home Office also becomes suspicious. They become suspicious, and therefore they can also use that to refuse your application. So it's always good if the person has a bit of travel history. So before someone comes, in some cases, well, if the person has traveled before, it helps. The person was able to abide by the rules, it helps. So this is something that we also have to bear in mind. Now, going to South Africa is visa free. You can also go to holidays in another country. The entry clearance officer will be thinking, why only UK? You could have gone anywhere. Why UK? Are you going to go back? So perhaps when you are there and the opportunity comes, you are listening to me in Ghana, by all means, Lagos, Togo, whatever, take advantage of it. Visit places, go to places. And sometimes when you make application, and it can be seen that you have traveled to so many countries, you have been to so many places, you have travel experience, and you do UK visa application, it can also help your application. The 8th reason was lack of detailed cover letter. It's very, very important that you offer an explanation to the person's circumstances and why the person is coming. So it's got to be very detailed. Places that the person will be visiting when they come to the UK, and amount of money that they intend to spend, and people that they intend to see. It's very, very important that we are aware of this. The 9th one is lack of proper documentation from your sponsor. Someone wants to sponsor someone, and basically the person is not providing the necessary supporting documents to support such application. As we know, visitors application, you are inviting someone to come to the UK, you claim that you have adequate accommodation. When the person comes, you give the person somewhere to stay. You claim when the person comes, you'll be able to feed the person. You claim when the person comes, you will take a day off, or you take a time off and spend some time with the person. If you're able to get letters to support all this and documentary evidence to support all this, it does enhance the application and help the application. 10. Not disclosing any previous visa refusals is also something that we have to be aware of. Sometimes people think they can hide things from people, but believe me, you cannot hide. When Home Office want to dig and use stuff against you, they will go through their records and they will dig and they will bring it up and they will use it against you. So if you have previous refusals, it is very, very important that you do what? That you bring it into fold, you bring it into play and state that previously you made an application for visitors visa, the application was refused on such and such a date. The reasons given are as follows. However, your circumstances is now different. You are now working, you are now married, you now have children, now you have a sponsor. The sponsor have an accommodation, the sponsor's tenancy agreement is here, the sponsor's bills are here, the sponsor is working full time, the sponsor is making good money, the sponsor will be able to feed me when I get to the UK, the sponsor has been able to provide bank statement showing a fat bank balance of £5,000. Now the sponsor have a pay slip to show that regular income is coming in. The sponsor, you do communicate with the sponsor, you have evidence of communication. If the sponsor is a relative, you have evidence of relations. If you have all this, it enhances the application and limits the chances of the application being refused. If there is no change in your circumstances since your last previous visa application, then it's not a good idea just to put in the same application over and over and over. It does not help and it will not help you. So this is what people have to be aware of. I will do the immigration side. Once we finish, then we come to the employment side. Now let's look at another area that we must also look at. Applications that you can go back to the Home Office and apply for reconsideration. As we know, Home Office policy about reconsideration has changed. Not all applications that you can go back to the Home Office and ask them to reconsider their decision. So now let's look at applications that you can request for reconsideration. According to the Home Office guidelines, you can only make a request if you applied in the UK. 2. 1. Transfer your visa to a biometric residency permit, known as transfer of conditions. 2. Transfer your indefinite leave to remain to a biometric residency permit, known as no time limit. Extend your leave, switch your visa or settlement in the UK. Extend your leave, switch your visa or settle in the UK. So therefore, if you look at it very carefully, it says extend your leave. That means you must have an existing visa before you can even try to make an application to extend it. Because if you are living here illegally and you make an application and it's refused, you cannot apply for reconsideration. However, if you've been granted, say, 2.5 years or 250 visa, as we call it, and you make an application for extension and that visa application is refused, of course you can go back to the Home Office and request for reconsideration. So we need to watch out for this. So sometimes it's probably best to reapply for reconsideration rather than to appeal. Then it will depend on your circumstances. Reconsideration, Home Office do not charge any money, and therefore we have to bear this in mind. You can do the reconsideration by writing a letter saying why you think the decision was wrong. Refer to the rules or policy under which you applied. Therefore, this is the work for a lawyer to do. So bear that in mind.
So, lawyer, I mean, if they still refused the reconsideration, can you then appeal?
If there is a right of appeal, yes, you can always appeal. It's not all the decisions that automatically attract the right of appeal. Some decisions attract the right of appeal under the immigration rules, some do not. So for me, it would depend. Sometimes you need to assess your circumstances and the urgency of your situation. That will then determine whether to appeal, and also, of course, your pocket, because the lawyer is not going to do it for free. He's going to charge you. So you need to look at all this. You take the economic into consideration, your circumstances, and also, whether you have the patience to wait for reconsideration. Because reconsideration, there's no time limit as to when they should come back. So when you do reconsideration for someone, the person has to be patient. If the person is going to be ringing you every day, what's up, what's happening, any update, it's just frustrating and waste of everyone's time. Because reconsideration, Home Office do not have any specific time. I had someone who was bombarding me like that. In the end, I got a bit fed up. I gave him Home Office number that he should call them and see. The person called, he was on the phone for 40 minutes. And when someone answered, the person said, sorry, we cannot help you. You just have to wait. I said the same thing to this person, but he wouldn't listen. So sometimes you have to let people face it before they actually believe it. So reconsideration, I will once again say it again. When you are doing reconsideration, be patient, because it's not something that it's got time. And they are not just going to drop everything that they are doing and consider your reconsideration. They have a lot of cases, and therefore sometimes these things take time. So if you are going to go down that route, then you have to be patient and do it that way.
So if they refused, you are let's say if they refuse your appeal, if let's say you've appealed and your appeal has been refused, or there is a chance to go for an appeal and appeal has been refused, can you then go back for reconsideration?
No. Once you go through the appeal process, is one.
No, there's no. You can't go for reconsideration,
Okay,
but you can go for reconsideration. If that one is refused, then you can go for appeal.
This is what normally you should do, but the problem is time. Once your application is refused, you've got only 14 days to appeal. So if you decide to apply for reconsideration, and they don't come back within the 14 days, you will run out of time. You see, and therefore that becomes problematic.
Okay.
However, I love this country. You see, when they make the law, they also apply common sense.
Yeah.
The law also says that even if you have run out of time, you can still go back to court. You can still appeal and explain to the court why you have run out of time. So, for example, you have decided to apply for reconsideration. The reconsideration decision came back 28 days later. You have lost your right of appeal, automatic right of appeal, the law still make provisions that you can offer a judge an explanation why your appeal is being lodged out of time. So you can say that you did not just going to come to court and waste the court's time and the court's resources, as well as the government resources and time. For that reason, you decided to apply for reconsideration with the hope that the Secretary of State will accept the mistakes that they made when they are making your decision, so that it can be resolved between the two parties without the court's involvement. However, despite giving the Secretary of State the chance and pointing out where the Secretary of State has gone wrong, he is still not prepared to budge. For that reason, I've been given no other choice but to proceed to court. And therefore, because of these reasons, I think it will be in the interest of justice for this appeal to be allowed to proceed, on the basis that it will be in the interest of justice. So many a times, judges, they will look at it and say, well, maybe this guy was being practical. He didn't want to come and waste our time. The Secretary of State clearly made a mistake, but yet they are not prepared to accept their mistakes to resolve the matter. So if this person is now coming to court, I will allow the case to proceed on that basis, because it will be in the interest of justice for the case to proceed. So a judge may make that call. But sometimes you don't want to leave your destiny in someone's hands. And therefore it's always advisable in this type of situation for me lodge the appeal and also put in the reconsideration, so that reconsideration succeed, you withdraw the appeal.
Okay,
that
so
is that is what I will suggest.
I see.
And you make it very clear to the Home Office, in order not to lose your right of appeal, you have lodged the appeal anyway, but you want them to reconsider so that the appeal can be withdrawn, so that everyone is happy. You can do both.
I see.
To be honest, I've done one for a case that I was involved in, and I know that the person is listening. The person will probably going to listen, and it made sense to do it that way. And I was so convinced of what I was doing that this case will not end up in court. And I know, as a human being, sometimes you listen to advices, and at the back of your mind, you also start thinking, oh my God, if he was not supposed to go to court, how come that the application was refused? As a human being, yes, all this will go through your mind, which is normal. For me, it's normal. It's not a big deal. But at the same time, you have faith in the person, that what this person is saying is making sense. You believe that it will work. But at the same time, being human, you know, all sorts will be going through your head, and especially if your application is refused. You even start doubting yourself and doubting your advices. Home Office, they make mistakes all the time. That one I can tell you. So we lodged the appeal, and we also asked for reconsideration. And I was so convinced that this case would not go to court. Based on the evidence and based on the law, I could have bet with my life on this case. So I keep assuring the person, look, I've done similar cases, justice and law, you know, and I know that this case, I don't think that this case will go to court. So we sat there, 1 month is gone, Home Office haven't come back. 2 months is gone, Home Office haven't come back. Only a week before the withdrawal letter came, I had a conversation. Then my mind was like, maybe we should do fresh application, maybe we should wait a bit. But in the end, we concluded that we should wait a bit. So in fact, we give ourselves up to the end of August, because our appeal process can take about a year. So we decided to wait a bit. We waited just after about a week. The letter has come. The Secretary of State is prepared to withdraw the decision based on the evidence that you have provided. Wow. It is not magic. But I always say this. to be a good lawyer, you have to have the ability and the gift to be able to speculate. Ability and the gift to be able to foresee. Because foreseeability, I will say to you, is 25% of our job. Because if you cannot anticipate what your opponent is thinking, trust me, you're always going to have problems. So if you want to be a lawyer, it's very, very important that you pray for the gift of foreseeability, so that you can see what is about to happen, so that you can see what someone is thinking. You can speculate what someone is about to do, and therefore you build your defense. So the person started, your defense is already alert. So no matter what happens, you are always you are always one step ahead. So it's very, very important that in this field you must pray to God to give you that gift, because there are so many times that I've said to people that this is going to happen, this is how it's going to happen, and they watch me and they say, Pastor, I'm not a pastor. I don't know God's telephone number. I haven't been called by God to do pastoral job. My job is to work as a lawyer, and by His grace and through the prayers of people like Pastor Kwabena Alesdua, people like Pastor Fred, the church, the support that they give us, and the wisdom that they pray to the Lord Almighty give us, that is what is directing us. And therefore we are able to speculate. We are able to see that this is how the Home Office are going to go about a certain case, and therefore we are able to attack it from the source before even it happens. So in this particular case, only last Thursday, banger, the letter came that the Secretary of State is no longer going to fight the case, and therefore they are seeking our consent so that the case can be withdrawn from the court for them to proceed and issue the visa, because based on the evidence that has been lodged with the appeal and the reconsideration, they have decided basically not to go through the court. Because of that ability to be able to work with client is very, very important. That when things go wrong, as a client, you must work with your lawyer. If you're a lawyer and things go wrong, you must work with your client. Because when you have that teamwork, that ability to be able to talk things through together, reason together, believe me, you are always going to be on top, because you are able to make a rational and the right decisions. So that's exactly what happened in this particular case. So it's very, very important that the decision to appeal, to go through the court system, to ask for reconsideration, is something that you must always discuss it with your client. Look at the client needs. So for example, you have a client who wants to be in the UK by September, as an example. If the case is going to go through the court process, there is no way that the person will be able to come in September, because taking a case to court can take 1 year before the court actually set a date. The court has now set a date as an example. You go to court, you win your case. Once you win your case, it will take them another 3 months, if you are not lucky, if not more, to issue the visa, to implement the decision. And therefore, if the person wants to come to UK in September, is it going to be possible? It's not going to be possible. You are looking at next year. That will not serve the best interest of your client, and therefore in some cases you may have to consider reapplying for a new visa. That is how it works. So the needs of the client, the client's timetable is also very, very, very important, that you look at all these things. Now let's look at Brexit update. I know this week, or perhaps for the past 2-3 weeks, a lot of people have heard about this new word. In fact, it's not new, but it's a word that is not very common. And suspension of parliament, prorogation of parliament, prorogue parliament. I believe that people have heard this. Prorogue means suspending. prorogation of parliament, suspension of parliament. Boris Johnson, the leading contender of the Conservatives party leadership, has made so many promises, including by 31st of August, whether we like it or not, we are coming out of the European Union. This is what he has said. Do or die at all cost. As to whether this is a political talk or whether he means business. He has even gone on to say that if Parliament is going to be a thorn, if Parliament is going to be an obstacle, then by hook or crook, he is prepared to suspend Parliament or prorogue Parliament so that he can do what? He can get his way. That means UK will walk away from the European Economic Community without Parliament having a say. In theory, yes, he can do that. But if he does that, is that the democracy that this country have? If he does that, can we call that democracy, or we will call that autocracy? People are divided. People who wants to come out of the European Union at all costs are saying that he is right to do that because he's got the power. But the same people are saying that it is wrong for Parliament to vote against no deal. It is wrong for Parliament to have a say. But yet, it's the same people who voted for these people to go to Parliament and make laws for us under our the parliamentary system of government. So there's a lot of confusion going on about the definition of democracy or parliamentary system of democracy. But all the same, Parliament this week, there was also another indicative vote in which they voted in big numbers. What they said was this: any attempt by the Prime Minister, if it is going to be Boris Johnson or Hunt, to prorogue Parliament shall not be acceptable. They've also made it very clear that Parliament is not a building. Parliament is the MPs, the people that we have voted. So even if the Parliament building is closed, they will end up meeting on the streets to make the law. So now we have two contentions: Boris Johnson and the Brexiteers on one side, and we have other people on the other side. Tuesday evening, we will know who the Prime Minister will be, the next Prime Minister, and whether it will be possible for him to do what he says he's going to do by 31st of October is also another thing. It's another debate. So we wait to see. Not only that, I'm pretty sure that we've also heard about Gina Miller. Gina Miller is the person who took the UK government to court around March, where there was a threat that by 31st of March, whether deal or no deal, we were coming out. She sat there and she said, no way. We have a system called parliamentary system of government or parliamentary democracy. Parliament must have a say whatever happens. Whether we are coming out with a deal, whether we are coming out without a deal, whether we are staying in, whatever. No matter what is decided by the leading government, Parliament must sign it off. Our dear Prime Minister wasn't happy. But in the end, the Supreme Court held that Gina Miller was right. Parliament must have a say. And we all know what happened in Parliament. Vote upon vote upon vote, Parliament could not agree on anything. So we find ourselves in the same situation again. And Gina Miller last Sunday Sky News. She said that her legal team has already served a letter before action, we call it protocol letter, to Boris Johnson, that should you become the Prime Minister, note well that Gina Miller won. The court said that Parliament must have a say, whatever the deal will be. If you decide to play delaying tactics with the view of proroguing Parliament at last minute, then there is going to be a legal action. So she and the team has anticipated that there could come to a time where the Prime Minister could use delaying tactics, and when everyone is sleeping, we will be in 1st of November, and then we will walk out of the European Union without a deal, without Parliament giving a say. So they have also calculated the timing. They have actually served the notice before even Boris Johnson becomes Prime Minister, which is unusual. So if he becomes Prime Minister, she's already been served with a notice. Straight away, if she does not reply and give the promise within a certain time, they are going to court again. And as we know, once the court set a precedent, it's highly unlikely that the court will then do what? Will make another decision contrary to their own precedents. So we should also watch out for Gina Miller too, which potentially could also happen. So what is the consequences of this? Of no Brexit, or perhaps no deal Brexit? If there is no deal Brexit and you are European national, you are living in this country, or you are a holder of European visa, either being permanent scheme visa, either being permanent residency card, which was granted in 2004, whether being residency card, which was granted within the last 5 years, whether you have been granted EEA family permit, which has been granted within the last 6 months, it is incumbent upon you to do an application for settlement scheme visa or pre-settlement scheme visa. That is the only way at the moment that will guarantee your right to stay in this country in an event of no deal Brexit. Because if we come out of the European Union without a deal and say the Prime Minister wake up and say, I do not care, the right of EEC nationals is not guaranteed. It will depend on any future trading relationship that UK will have with the European Union. In that case, you, the EEA national living here without settlement scheme visa, a family member living here without a settlement scheme visa, you become a bargaining tool in which the UK government will then be able to use through new sets of negotiations. And therefore, your immigration status will become questionable. Will become questionable. It is for this reason that we ask that if you are European national, a family member of an European national, if you have been granted even permanent residency, it does not matter how long ago. If it's 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and it is a permanent residency, you must apply for the new visa, which is the settlement scheme visa or the pre-settlement scheme visa. Because if you don't, I, Lawyer Darko, I cannot guarantee your right. Because who knows tomorrow? Nobody knows tomorrow. So it is important, it is vital. Do not sit there and say that, oh, my visa is a sticky paper visa, it's in my passport, it was granted 15 years ago, and therefore this new policy does not affect me. It does affect any European national and their family members and those who got their visas through European angle, through relationship with an European national. It does not matter whether you have separated from the person. It does not matter whether you are no longer with the person. It does not matter whether the person has left the UK. It does not matter whether the person is dead. As long as the visa was obtained through European angle, you must, with immediate effect, get in touch with your lawyers. If you don't have lawyer, come to Justice and Law, and we will do you justice.
Absolutely.
Because MPs have speculated that there's going to be another Windrush scandal, part 2. Because people think at the moment they are okay because they have permanent residency. Let's come out of the European Union without a deal, and you will see that what you are holding,
it's nothing.
in some cases, will be not worth the paper that it is take on. You will tell everyone that you have the right to stay here. They say, prove it. We are no longer covered by the European law. So what are you talking about? And then problem. Not only that, once we come out of the European Union without a deal, there is also going to be impact on family law, especially divorce, as well as ancillary relief, financial arrangements. Because say you share divorce petition application forms, you will see that in some parts it's regulated by European regulations. And therefore, once we come out, there's a big question mark whether European nationals who are married to non-European nationals but living in the UK, whether they'll be able to do even a divorce in this country. This is also another potential problem that is lingering in the corners. So we need to watch out for this and take the right steps.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't, a time will come that you're gonna say that, had I know.
It's always at last.
You know, so it's very, very important that we pay attention to this as well. So I will bring the immigration to an end, and we will then go to employment law update. And then after that, we can then activate the telephone lines so that people can also tune in. Next week, we will cover stepfathers or stepmothers, whether they can rely on their British stepchildren to get status in this country. I'm not going to tease you. I will say the answer is yes. Next week, we are going to explain the law and what will be needed in order to make such application a successful application. We will treat that next week. Also, if there are areas that people want us to talk about, they can also let us know, and we will cover that as well. Let's look at employment law, holiday pay. Slave driver, when would their next pay be? Every hour. Yes, as we all know, you work for someone. In this country, there's something called holidays. Some people are entitled to 4 weeks holidays in a year, some people 5 days. It depends on the shift and the hours and the company that you work for. Some people get 6 weeks, and so on and so forth. There is always belief that you cannot carry your holidays to the following year. As a result, a lot of people have lost out. Sometimes people plan their holidays maybe because of events, they are unable to take it. Sometimes you plan your holiday and you get a telephone call that maybe you should not take the holiday because you are short of staff, take it another time, and so on and so forth. And as a result, people are unable to take all their holidays, and the companies will just keep the holidays and they lose their money. There was a belief that it was right that should be the case. Strange enough, 25th of June 2019, Court of Appeal has turned the law upside down by a decision in the Court of Appeal in the case of Chief Constable of the Police Services of Northern Ireland and others versus Agnew. Basically, what the tribunal, what the Court of Appeal said, is that people should be able to claim any holiday entitlement or pay that they have not received. This must go back as far back as 1998. This is what the court has said. And so therefore, if you are someone listening to me and your holiday is being taken, they did not pay you, then of course you can do what? You can go back and ask for your money. The case law is Chief Constable of the Police Services of Northern Ireland and others versus Agnew. In law, we don't say versus, but I'm using the word versus so that people can understand it. Legally speaking, is Chief Constable of the Police Services of Northern Ireland and others against Agnew. So that is the case law. So people should bear that in mind. You can use that case to fight for your holiday pay or holiday entitlement that has not been paid. And this can go back as far back as 1998. Also, there has been another case. Knowledge and disability. What do you know and when did you find out? Say, for example, this is a case. Someone called Mr. Baldeh, Baldeh, versus Churches Housing Association of Dudley and District Limited. This is a case. Miss Baldeh was recruited as a support worker, assisting voluntary young people to find accommodation. She was experienced and liked to do things her own way. She did not follow the policies and procedures. She didn't agree with, and this put a strain on her relationship with her manager and other colleagues. Shortly before the end of her probationary period, she was dismissed because of concerns about her work. This included breaching professional standards. She had loaned £10 to a service user without authorization.
Wow.
A complaint from a service user about a text message she had sent. 2 incidents of breaching data protection and a style of communication which was said to be abrupt and rude. Ms. Baldeh appealed. During her appeal hearing, she explained that she suffered from depression and had a breakdown in the past, and this meant that she was sometimes rude and abrupt when interacting with others. This was the first time she had mentioned this to her employer. She acknowledged her failings and apologized. Despite this, her employer decided to uphold her dismissal. Ms. Baldeh brought a claim alleging that her dismissal arose from her disability. During her evidence, she said that in early stages of her depressive episodes, she could be very aggressive and loud and not give other people the chance to speak, and could sometimes forget things. The employment tribunal rejected her complaint. However, it accepted that she was disabled but said her employers did not know about her depression at the time it dismissed her and had no reason to suspect Ms. Bardé's behavior may have been linked to this. Ms. Bardé appealed. The Employment Appeals Tribunal upheld her appeal and remitted the case back to the tribunal to decide if Ms. Bardé's dismissal arose from her disability. It accepted that the employer did not know about Ms. Bardé's disability at the time it dismissed her, but said didn't know enough to amount to actual or constructive knowledge of it before rejecting her appeal. The appeal was not divorced from the dismissal and was part of the overall process. So people have to be very careful. What is this case telling us? This case is telling us that if you have a disability, if you have any sufferings and you go to disciplinary, you have to mention it. If you mention it and the employer did not take that into consideration and they dismiss you, it could amount to what? Constructive dismissal or unfair dismissal. Disability is not a crime. It's not something that you should be ashamed of. You need to bring it up so that you give the employer a fair chance. The lower court did agree with the employer, but the upper court said no way. The fact that on appeal she brought it up and they became aware of this, they should have what? They should have looked at it again. The fact that they did not look at it and still went on to dismiss her, potentially she's been dismissed because of a disability. Because she said the way she behaved, the way she acted is linked to a disability. And if someone suffers from disability or someone is disabled, you the employer, you have to put in place a system to accommodate the person's disability so that she or he is able to perform her duties the right way. If you don't, then you're going to have problems. So the fact that she brought it up on an appeal, the court has held that yes, they should have done what? They should have taken that into consideration. And then the original decision to dismiss her and the subsequent decision to not to accept her disability is a one and continuous action, and therefore the case has now been referred back to the lower tribunal for them to make the right decision. So this is where we stand. So this one, she's talking about depression. If you have been diagnosed with depression, if you are having tough time at work and you believe that is due to your depression, please go and see your doctors and get it diagnosed. Bring it to your employer's attention. If they do nothing about it, you can go for them. Because when it comes to disability, in this country, they don't joke with disability and disabled people. They may be dislabeled, but they are not able. So bear that in mind. It's very, very important that we put this in our minds. And when we are in such a situation, we need to work out what we ought to do. It's very, very important. So that is what I would say in regard to that. I will also talk about this. Court of Appeal confirms voluntary overtime must be included in a holiday pay. This is something that people also have to bear in mind. Some of the employers, I know a big company, that's what they've been doing. I was working for them in 1996. And I had a big fight with them about this. They will give you a contract and they will tell you to work only 4 hours. And then they will force you to do overtime. So you go to work and it's like you are already working full time, but you are not contracted to do full time.
Because they don't want to pay holidays.
Why is that the case? Because they know if they give you full time and you are off sick, they have to pay you full time pay. if you are going on holiday, they have to pay you full-time pay. So why don't they take you a part-timer to do 4 hours a day, and then indirectly they will pressurize you to do full-time work. So in some sense, even pension contribution, they'll be paying less. So they are saving money through that angle. And in fact, they've done it for so long. I had a big fight, a big argument with them. And to be honest, in the end, I left the company. I had to leave because I believe that what they were doing was a very sneaky way of basically doing this, and it was unconscionable. It didn't come to me more. Consciously it was wrong. Morally it was wrong. But legally you could not touch them. That, thank God, finally, the Court of Appeal, the Employment Appeal Tribunal has made a finding in this year, last year. The case is called Flowers versus East of England Ambulance Trust, where the Employment Appeal Tribunal ruled that NHS staff employed under the into brackets agenda for change terms and conditions of employment should have all voluntary overtime payments included in their holiday pay, even if they are not regularly working, because this was a contractual right they could recover under payments going back up to 6 years. So if you are working for the NHS and this applies to you, you have to now step up, go to your management and say that the case of Flowers versus East of England Ambulance Trust, Employment Appeal Tribunal has made a decision that any overtime that I have done for the past 6 years, it must be included in my holiday pay. And therefore, on such and such a time, I did an overtime. You did not pay me. It was not included in my holiday pay, and therefore I'm asking for my money back. It is on them to work it out and give you your change, because a lot of people have taken liberties out of employees for so long. About time that the law is changing in favor of employees. So if you are working for the NHS, if you are working for anyone, because when a precedent is set, it affects everyone.
So, in other words, if you are working and you are doing overtime,
that's right,
you can claim
a holiday pay.
A holiday pay for the overtime that you are doing.
That's right. Because what happened is this: the way we calculate holiday, is based on the number of hours that you work. So sometimes two people will be working at the same place. They are doing different hours, and therefore their holiday time is also different. And therefore, if you've been doing overtime, it's just unfortunate that it can only go back to 6 years. If it can go back to about 25 years, I will be rich. I will go back to where I was working and tell them all the overtime that directly, indirectly, I was pressurized to do, because my contract was 4 hours, but yet every day I was being given an overtime for 8 hours, and I was doing like about 5 to 6 days a week. And therefore, when they calculate my holidays, they were calculating it based on my contractual hours of 4 hours, as opposed to the 8 hours that I was doing, and therefore I was shortchanged. If this law could go back to about 26 years, I would be rich.
Right.
I think I will just retire from law.
I think you've solved a problem of mine just now from what you've just said, because truly speaking, my contract is 39 hours. My weekly time table have changed. So daily I do 10 hours, and I've been asked to do overtime 1 hour every week, because I have to do 40 hours to fulfill. Legally, if I have to do my 39 hours, then who can you get to do 1 hour?
Impossible.
It's impossible. So I've been asked to do overtime every week, 1 hour.
And therefore, they need to, when they are calculating your holidays, they need to factor that
in. They need to factor that in.
It's very, very important. Sometimes they don't know. So we need to bring it to their attention that in the case of Flowers against East of England Ambulance Trust, the Employment Appeal Tribunal held that any overtime that I do must be included in my holidays. Simple
as that.
Okay, now we move on. we move on to another case, which is new minimum wages, naming and shaming list suspended. There was a list of companies who were not giving minimum wage to their employers, and there was a list that people publish naming and shaming the organizations who were paying their staff peanuts. In fact, there was one organization, famous organization, who were paying their staff peanuts, and even when they sell stuff and the customer ran away with the money, they would deduct some of the money from the employees' wages. And it came to light, and the company was shamed, and the company said, oh, they're gonna stop it. It's not like that, and excuses. So that is how it is. I think in terms of employment, I think that's the most significant stuff that has come to light that I decided to share with us today. Justice and law, we cover employment law. If you have money, you can come and see us. All your employment law challenges, we'll be able to help you to resolve it. We also cover immigration and nationality law. If you want to come and see us, we will help you to find solutions to your legal problems. We also cover family law, divorce. If you want to do divorce, come and see us. We will sort you out. We also do commercial leases. If you're a church, an organization, and you are buying a lease, by all means, you can also get in touch, and we will do it for you. If you want to do affidavit, any legal document, power of attorney, statutory declaration, by all means, you can also come and see us. We will help you. Justice and law solicitors, we are based in Brixton at 35B Efra Road. The building is called The Link. We've changed the name. The name used to be called the Eurolink. It's now called The Link. 49 Efra Road is in Brixton. London SW21BZ. Say opese ofrebuku appointment. So our number is 0207 993 5976, Monday to Friday from 9:30 to 5:30. You can also call us on the mobile phone, which is 07538 969 589. You can also call us, and we will help you with all your legal problems. Justice and law, I will say, through the Spirit of the Most High, we keep delivering, and we will keep delivering. Mr. Frank Owusu is powerful. Oja Sana Etienne. I say about 1250 pepe. Ye did you medie no ebeba na wie ye ne na afi no yetimi ebie amatrofo natum. Aya na enkrofo bebre e wo hallow. Edi no kremintimi mo say hallow, say harrow. Omo city bi omo try some befre enso so omo entimi engrem. Enti na ye bie line no entem. Obi a wo question bia na wetimi afre na wabusa. When it comes to immigration and nationality there, I can tell you, justice and law, we will give you freedom, no doubt about that. We are champions. Obientimi, there is no one, no shaking when it comes to immigration and nationality law, because son to come in case be by him since 2012. Preso. Afi mama say lawyer. Enti menkwa na mikese ha chise wo office admana. Anam so ma dan hu omo ha biem. O se da bi. Anam so ni nipa baako. Ne de ba match. Se ono ne de abadia. E wo se wo so de ba. Enipa na be ma bu. Wo se menkwa aden. Aden na me bresa enkrata asem ho. Afi krade me hu de me nya biem. Na meka se mi kire maami na otie na sopem. Meka kire ne se hwe obonsam ho den. Obonsam ho. At the verge of greatness. Eno na obonsam sorry. Enti on shedding. Na wo de yen hwede nyame be. Am pass so this week. Nyame aye. Enti se utie me, you are watching us. You are watching us and you are having difficulties. You are having challenges. Your case, you've been battling. You never give up. You have to keep fighting. That is the only way, I believe, you can get to your destiny. So we are going to activate the telephone lines.
Freedom.
If you want freedom, you come to Justice and Law Solicitors. We will give you the freedom that you are looking for in terms of immigration and nationality law.
Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
UK immigration law specialist.
Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Lawyer Darko, I've had 18 years experience dealing with UK immigration law, not a joke.
Freedom.
I started this game 2001
Freedom.
from Charles Alote.
Shut up.
From there we move on to where?
Shut up. Shut up.
We moved on
Freedom.
to Ross Simon and Co Solicitors.
Freedom.
From there we move on to Ceylons.
Shut up. Shut up.
And from there we moved on to Justice and Law, establishment of Justice and Law in 2010. So Justice and Law we've been trading for over 9 years.
Freedom.
It is not a joke.
Freedom. Shut up. 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 Shut up.
If you want freedom,
Shut up. Shut up.
I say come to Justice and Law Solicitors. But you are friend now. We can also know my basisia.
Freedom. Freedom.
Ofra, you bought the last 4 digits and actually set time. That's one. Esa wakasa.
Shut up.
And two friends here for one way. So my idea why you said you'll be able to akasa at the right time. Nejumandi I come my.
Freedom. Freedom.
Mrs. Wupe freedom, the Abra Justice and Law Solicitors. Wati.
Shut up. Shut up.
If you are in immigration chains, Abra Justice and Law Solicitors.
Freedom.
We will free you.
Freedom. Freedom. Freedom.
Yes, the telephone number is 0203-002-8482.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
If you're in the United States of America and Canada, the number is +1 31223899510.
Freedom.
If you want to send a text or you want to call us through WhatsApp, the number is +44203-002-8482.
Shut up. Shut up.
Me say any empire ibigawati.
Freedom. Freedom.
Justice and Law won't mean Turkey.
Freedom.
Yes, but the career doctors who take the Kremo Papa.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Freedom.
Me say any baby wati.
My name be Shatta Wale.
Mr. Salina. Me say baby wati. Right, yes, I say for telephone calls and for Jumadina and to so nice. So said ya hello for ni na from betimi etimi awuram. Ene yes man ye bia to muntem. Said ya obi o question bia ebetimi afre. Na mesre pi a yenya entoboase ema ye ho. Cause sometimes obi frɛ no obusa question na obi gina so si nipa na eche obi ade ho hia no se bi wanka se wotiri ho a ye ayubone yesi so baba shop na se unis campo na gina ho cha eye de be hu bobo ama hair cutter eye nice enti yanko papa na offer first one 3706 me pacho edru so di de se na ka se free
Bacho 37
me pacho obi free ni number no eye 3706 una edru so se o number no se onye familiar with your number ni so a ene una di kan free a me ka si gina so na ye ba no obetimi akasa. Hello mpacho di de say
your friend Kojo Darko
your friend Kojo Darko de wa sheda
hey
mpacho da
eyo di ankasa
mpacho media no
sa
hey papa
unya no way
ene what to me di betu aka
mate
edinu unya no way o say o papa de say
papa opponent tachi
ana odi atu Kojo Darko o papa de opponent tachi ana odi atu Kojo Darko
mpacho are
ana ono to hwan
nadamfo.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. And Kojo Darko manenko yetio
me pacho me worry UC ni na me na ja worry na me work permanent resident na manya British passport still ana here say me settlement scheme no
say ukita British passport there, that means your right to stay in this country is guaranteed by virtue of being a British citizen. And in that sense, no, who here.
Mate, me da CP.
That was it.
Yeah, that's it. Be a meteor. Na me na me first time.
Oh, why are
first time caller?
Kojo Darko, yeah, frewate. Now, offer cramp no, and also to me encourage you.
Am I a vim? Why am I a vim?
We are brutal, Kojoda, we are brutal. No vampire ma wate.
All right.
We be a beko boko.
All right.
Kojoda ko na begini de ekono afi yenko 1603 pacho edruso.
Good morning.
Good afternoon to you. Pacho, what's your name and where you calling from?
Pacho, me free Andover, from Ayon.
Hey, Ayon pa dadio.
Uka say free
Andover. I was rock akra.
Handover.
I will
oh, I see. Ayon kasai.
Ayon yonko.
I'm a person me pusa for for example. Holidays. And my request. And me yale ye. Me yale so ye juma mo yale ya. O request holidays now yare na say e provide holidays no automatically no. Say holidays now request ye no. E cancel automatically no. Enti no. In case they be a me yale we na me ho to me na me ba. Not a message requesting me holidays no. Not a woman farm, mamma, not a next year no better so. So I'm clear, Mr. Kamami, and I said by force, no, mamma, activity holidays in mamma within year.
Okay, if that is the company policy, there, then it's favorable because me I can be suspicious, kakra. But if that's the company policy, then after illness, either say they will pay your holiday or they will allow you to take your holiday. And sometimes, employers need to be more fault too. If they are so busy, say, "Oh my goodness, Kosania maneso." Oh, now Allah tell me can see me. I'm a rain feeder. Or see, David, if you don't ask, you don't get. And Tisana etie. A chrome will never be a hoa. I am fire ferry and in Tonche. Now you Musa. Because we're Musa, yen farmer. And say, oh, corner so we did it. Was it the case of flowers? The case the crown pudding, they say, refugee this is here. The case of flowers against, I think, the NHS Trust, and then I set this our template, and I set our precedents, and ubiti me idea, I use to back up.
Oh, okay, I'll let you. Okay, not just that. By force, I'm the holidays in the mommy and I'm spending.
Sanity.
That's right. Sana alone etie.
But I am me fault na me dey
you need to ask because employer be obetwini. I said the own way no. Na chese also when musa na chese is to your not to your benefit. Yes, you need to ask. Obusa na so mo ye rofa o dey catch them. Why?
You know, lawyer, back to be no say Boris was it 31st August? Some names 31st October.
31st of October. Say sana me kind dia any me
31st October. 31st October. Why?
Yo, me that.
CP. That is Iron Man from Andover. And I was calling Iron Man idea. Say ubu so na so man farmer wa hammer them down. Okay, young court for next one. Next one here, 2860. The patrol una edruso 2860.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm patrol one say.
Patrol also and make a fruit in it.
Also, an on a the breakfast day. Welcome.
Patrol David.
Sir, any metoko yame betcher why. Sir. Any meto kokoni masa bro wine because every so voice no form pa. Ebeba wine.
Fire baby ADD or no?
I know.
Oh, I see. Also akasa.
Okay, yo. Pacho, the question I'm going to tell you and say, I'm the new application so we are. Now say one time is our indefinite already. So now we have 5 years proof of address and
You may not need it, you may need it. A bit depending. So your application now, because as you are doing the application, you know, omutimi search through national insurance records, any GP records, to be able to verify say what's in a crewman for 5 years. If they are able to verify it, you don't need it. But sometimes necessary machine and picking it up. Once a catcher say you have not lived in this country for 5 years. If that is the case, then you need this evidence to support your application.
Okay. Nah, P60 no. So, young fan is just 4 years P60. Yeah. Train now when you set one because even though you said they are two address for 5 years now, so now we have P60 for the whole site.
Say, unya pay slips. The pay slips can substitute the P60 na in your mind, and I say the unya no. And if, for example, ABR 2014, 15, 16 is missing, 17, 18. Na say the MSN no unya pay slips and I say any evidence bia I chese na ye adwuma it's me the esiwa and I say you can call Inland Revenue and request for 5 years employment history so it's me the braille na aye simple.
What I say also
okay, yeah, that was CP. Afe, yemfa de otwaso so person France bit me afre number is 0203 002 8482. Yanko de otwaso so 5512 me pacho edru so yanko.
Fire!
Oh, jajadam. Butu
Rancho!
Shut up.
My name is Freedom.
Freedom.
Right. What's it when you're freedom? Anyway, we did the same patcho.
Patcho, like I say.
Everybody from Fred O'Brien, lawyer.
Fred O'Brien. Positivity now, they are born, aka.
Now you said my team officer now, they said
yes, said why you're Fred.
It's Fred, yeah.
It's a brother now, this Selena, no. That's right. That's right.
And they are fireman pa.
And to Obika say if there is a challenger to justice and law, I can say.
Also because
if there is a challenger to justice and law, I can say. Is there a challenger to justice and law?
Oh, no challenger.
No challenger. And you will come out.
No challenger.
And you will come out. And you will come out. Me teacher man.
Shut up.
I say no challenger. Justice and law. You dem back. No challenger. Freedom. No challenger. Freedom. Mrs. Animal come out. What? Obia what you be? No friend come on us.
Freedom.
Mr. O'Brien, can we be today?
Yes, sir.
Kasa.
Oh, many aji, papa. Oh, Ajuma, your mammy, what my Juma, what I'm a minute. I mean, said, the actor, the dog, so,
Ubaya Miami, your father. The trail Barbasso, where my power, mammy, the maid, in the vision of Yamisho. I mean, more because we're most any Diana and a boy in Muswaka. Will be as well, won't Mukatasan be the messenger said, Funko Digest and lost solicitors who do her last stop and one of the
What's it justice and lawyer, dear?
Last stop.
Wow.
Last stop. Immigration last stop, yeah.
Yeah, that was
Mr. Obriabwa.
Yes, sir.
Ujidie. And young Kwawate. I dear. If you said your sometimes it's nice to appreciate the little people do for you. Say you're big in your eyes, so and there is up to you. But Lawyer Darko on no fool say the little any impact obenya any pabrabo mono and one way no. Ya na nyese bia ye tena radio so ekasa kekewo. E catch was say Lawyer Darko onyankopon ene yi no ebeto Ghanaians mo. Se omwa enipa omuhia mo nyina ana ono so guso a obo enipa. We are not here to brag or to talk too much, say chinching about justice and law. But say oba na se wenya okrata. Me chief servant pharmacist Darko. Me say be jimi usika free me ho. Because minim obi a waba justice and law. Wasakokwa. Se enye ye obeka cho plain se enye ye.
That's it.
On juicy kada. On juicy kada. Enti media de bia meka o se patapa pieto yi ya de emrane woro.
So we na mbefrem.
Enti we de one waka ebi na wo kan yo menua etiefo amutie media menka endwamanum o de mo pa abra. Last stop and one waka no. Bra never sorry. Enti you don't want say
na lo ya ba ko na ko fie ko ana yitim ko yede nkata no mai ko
nyame
you abontin ani asresre sa asa ba wi ko da
nyame
you say dey wusi wo djuma fa so we have to wo de bi tinya bo cheche ni mu o lawyer nyame shira
yeah that must be
nyame shira
so bi aso do ato because I don't say you na ma ko fo ni na so say the pressure we lawyer ma papa lawyer ni kwanta lawyer ni bi aso
ya de nyame ase ya da wase ya da wase
ene eja obri oso tise obi ebo sa anwum we a na chese justice and law eso na da wase ene wabusuafo ase ene wo patience obi odi case brewa na osa bompa yese ma enyeyi na onfenya asembone enkamfa wo ho but akoma ekitawa de baaye ene gidia ekitawa ode baaye afi kra de yese di nkomo kra na mehu sese wunua kra no oso a what we feel mukoi afi kra na me kra adwiri me I'm telling you Adebola yes no
ene bi nimlo ana wo sa se wo di Selena tempi unia na se wo yes akwa wo be ma positive ayo vimu
sabrochira asemo ye be ma kra be yo ba
sure
entu sister no sa ye nuaba wo sa
o na chese ewiase ehu
da bi ene se yenim no pa o o efie ni papa
because enkomodie ma na ekopi be na say na so sa de me amame me kai se those days pa o chekala we ene edua enkate awrade nyame ewiase de your baby ko nyame fa ne crazy
enti kwishabo so on so ko shabobo nyame o ho all the best
tinya ka se wiase do beye bia no edawani mu twen adeblu abeye uhu so mfaso enewu ebia 20 years 30 years afida na babi hu so mfaso ebia wumpo wanya so mfaso a obabia anase wunua bi ebinya emfaso afri eti papa oya onyantumu akoma so ekita wo saa because udi gidi and ba justice and law solicitors na de bi am kasa asem we uni gidi a don't come because enye adwuma lawyer gidi a I'm telling you
say assembly no waka no me o ba me ho consultation na me prescribe wo do ma na u gidi say uni gidi a enom enye adwuma de bi ka me say me prescribe bi mi ma na say We need to said them the amount of Juma. Forget it. And Juma.
So papa buy or the GDA me here we a crab and a mefaso minya no ma chere no akofaba say me catch any case me I'm not worried about it because regardless how long it will take it will come so ana nyame adom ene Selina adane Obriabu yo. And Selena adane Obriabu. And say also to say obi ebonu ya na che say ye boma.
Freedom.
Many a
Edu Abiana yedi humor so kakra from the Yamias. Afi yanko do twaso so yi. Odi amisa ya bua de show ya yama. That's right.
Freedom.
Yaminaye. Ebatonka yeda wasi peace.
Yeda wasi eso so etimi afre no encourage ye nuanom bi mo because ebumama mabu obu obekọ Ghana ni lawyer no oyekohwini no akogi ni sika na wadi unfortunately eba ne saa na nipa na ka obeka se Ghana for lawyers na me de na se de ye mwanwa kra ne se metimba bi no obi bai ana so da dako enkofo ni mu pa wo nam se ade was be King's College obi ko won tokwa dendende anam se ade ana so obi apeno so aka se Ghana for lawyers yakohwifo ana ni across ye ne lawyer dako obi abi mi fi se won kasa kra do this guy is so quiet. I was even shocked. I said ni buofu manike kana dwini chire nipa no anam se oh yes sure say nipa we pe bi na no kasa se we was share. I was shocked myself. This guy I won kasa was snobu nipa manu say yes was snobu no anam se yes in pimpim ebe time na pimpim bedo na mum de obeya ne say ya de pa o ya de pa enipa ne ko
enipa ba ko na wa say din no nipa ba ko
sanity
anamienu no ma say din
Ghana for lawyers ebe say mu pi musimo ye adwuma na munye ne ye na edimpo ne bono eso enye de eso ente na Ghana for enya yentuma papa bi emfemfra afa yenko de oto asoso yemfa 0750 mepacho edru so kasa
0750 Edru so
I say program na any did too much into person be kasa yanko 3706 so 3706 ono so say program na any day person be kasa
3706
o de yanko do to so yanko 5024 patcho wane kasa
lawyer something into you.
Hey, Nana, what's up, baby? Any Saturday, they no show. No.
Nana Kasa. A wonderful. Nana Kasa.
The meaning of the Kasa is. Why are you, Papa? So, you offer see about the we are. Okay. Testimony or two will be the abandoned. Also, the Babechina. I don't know what a union dark or the second. Oh, so the idea bread were a dark one. The also why the empire. Because such the Armenian send pound call Mr. Darko Emma Melina Jack.
There's no cray.
Wow. Only alone can say Ghana and lawyer. Now, only alone, where you can hear. Wow. ɛyɛ na kasa bi wɔ hɔ a sɛbi nyɛ sɛ
yɛnka
deɛ only no ɛka kasa baako wogu na ne ntia so yɛde ɛwɔ gyidie ɛwɔ wu yɛdi adanseɛ yɛde nipa nso bɔ a ɛyɛ yie ɛna sɛbi obiara ni hɔ a yɛakyerɛ no a wabɛka sɛ nipa no abone no kɔɛ ɔma a yɛkɔɔ wɔ no sɛbi wɔteatea yɛ anaasɛ ɛni yɛ sɛ ɛtumi nuanom a maka yɛbɛkɔ so akamfo lɔya daako sɛ obiara yɛ a ne din biara ka baabi biara a wakyɛgye ne din yɛ a wɔde comfort a ɛbɛyɛ kakra na wɔde kɔfie ɔmfa n'asɛm daako ɛwɔ breaking na wɔduru breaking a ne haw na bɛbrɛ sɛ nyinaa no
ɛso bɛtwa
daako bɛsoɛ no the lawyer sɛdeɛ mekaeɛ no me se wodi yɛbɛkɔ soa ne wanante akɔdi sɛ ewiase bɛsɛ
nana wayɛ adeɛ paa nana wayɛ adeɛ
nana tontin hif ana akasa no nana deɛ ɔkasa ne mu du paa n'akyi fo so ɔmo ta n'akyi anaasɛ n'akyi dɔmfo ɔmo so ɛdɔɔso paa enti nana yɛda wase for your continuous support to Justice and Law Solicitors and also to Fire Life Radio. Any kakra so ye edeboa o mindful de bia o come so say Saturday monfantoa apomudin emremu nsem ana Christo nsem monfantoa na muntie na munsua bibi na monfa emomobra enye sabio panyin bia na obeye saade no panyin bi wo ho a ebia wote kra na o encourage other people to also listen and learn from it. And as the Biayeka no, you see Penina or Tinefie, Emma and Cra Erin and Cano, ye can nanka before or can who be. And so, and ye do make sure say, Uncle Fan and come if ye, and or Barbary, Amiaka so win and can. Etinana, Yadawasipi, Yankupon Enshrow. I say every Saturday, be also say wadaji, and I say every day. We free nkwadi asa wadaji ede eto Fire Life Radio etie de ye de ba no na okọ kache na tontin se Ghana ni lawyer enye papa dwuma odi be diu no obetwa dwan wate we ntwa dwan a obetwa ne ntwi enti no ye kasem de ye kasa ani aye careful kakra se de aye kan ye no ye se emwa bia anase emwa nyina etimi etru mika enso so nantwie nko ankotru mika ni bia ye se nantwie abodam enti ebesem bi se ebimo enye papa ene boni penidin wo se sa ni pawe ye se ensemone enti na ye che din no na sebio abrewa na honye de ne de na enye na batwe abrewa wo no mkwan ya de ono so no wo abatwe na patapa pioto we ye de emra so na ero ye se ye de obi kan ye pitim my se ponko man ka me ho am ejimpire meja wu mi na wu amama se ma ye mobo aso we eti asem aso we eti asem e wa asem tie ana e wo asem tie enti ni penua o ho na wa we waso na Justice and Law Solicitors die ye bekoso edi dwuma papa ama amanfo abo edin papa so bi bo edin pa men ka se aden ka se de no mo ye right enkrofo bo mu din papa yi na wo so ye bi na sebio yo so ye mo din pani bi na ye nka se yes Ghana for ma ye ade papa na ama ye din so akwa achire Justice and Law oba say other nationalities. Now we are getting a lot of Somalia for the Omobuye so. Obebana Bruni to be say, hey, Asusum Rofoba, Obebana Somalia need to be say, hey, Somalia for Baha, Obebana American citizens, American new Bruni, on why you wanted, I penachimu kromwa, no so to advice. Media Mekanibia, my life is a miracle, and I thank God for my life, and also I thank God for your life. Nakopon Enkayina Yeho. Yantuaso, now a month for Bigusopa. 376-3706 Mpacho Druso.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Mpacho Din say nakase free.
I'm Mpacho Mekasa free Tottenham lending high FM Nana Champon.
Nana e Champon. When Numba bo nyomana.
Mpacho David.
Nti wo onyanka account me boa.
Onyanka account yo.
Wo onyanka account ana me boa.
Oh,
that's good. That's good. And let jump on the manenko. One look.
If I show me person me testify kakra about lawyer Dako.
Okay.
Na me baba so kofa ni kunu ni ma Ghana ba. that's no what the chinchini bebre Emma and Emma no ye jinisika di bebre ma basa Emma fe no kra copy tribunal. Even who sa case nam si there be me G and am de command lawyer dako. I'm sorry or maybe meeting or back me.
A champon.
Kasa, Nana.
Who called the office here? Just say near Obesia, Yanis no Besunua Casano. I'm a come across a dow song. Obesu Akonona at no crowd winning say a year. Small Beccano of Wow Marcani ye.
Yeah, no correct.
I saw your child, my and French. I dare 1 penny Kululu. No more be mouse who say on you.
Yeah, I know correct.
I mean him near a court tribunal or Mobibe Giant. You and also no. A home office with the chile and who emails I saw to I know where dear. 2 minutes be a near to so when you have a no assassin email no sir. Chadia Yaminam no so. Me ban or coffee new crew men
that's good. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
No way, no, yes, I may come over to TB. Now, and yes, I be a lawyer for more coming now. Walk across some Chomona. Or no decal show where he has some no more decal car. Eben in seminar.
And the correct.
So, who did I know because I'm a trial now? If you are one year, no dear. One door better say. So, 1 year and year when you sick.
And the correct.
Dear.
Openye champon eno no waka no eno aso an ye ka ho asemu eno aso an ye ka ho asemu but I made deso say wetimi I bold about all this dance nyame hiraw pa na nyame entum kwanna mu ene o ba no ene ni kunu ni ma akofo mu nyina ba na menim say nyankopon ebefa oso ebie kwan bebre Abwa Ghana for so a Omuti radio station ni.
Amen. That's Yamin Shaw.
Yeah, that was CP Nana H Ampon. Nana H Ampon.
Asama Nana Champon no Chan Tottenham.
That's one kapa. Nana Champon da say ye chambusu afo ni nyina so. Eja ye fight ko na menim say bibi biara e da kwa mu bia no. Ye be pia ni nyina amanato yi. Ama yi ato yi. E onyankofo ni di no. Yadamasipi for your patience and for your support and for the testimony, because sometimes you know ayana true testimony it may encourage you be obu opesoko fa na yireba na se ni kunu ba na se ni nua biba say when testimony na masa na onye convince and I say impusu no enti testimony na che say amafa begu so pa into the young call reading number be 8508 na a reading number pair. Hello 8508.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Nampacho ane kase free.
Bacho me kase free well.
O kase free Wales. Aha. Okay, mpacho ane udine de say.
Bacho me din the Doris.
Doris 3684. Also for mami, wa belande yonko.
Yo ye betia atwefo nyina na ye betia oma and na omudi good testimony aba. Na ne ya na me pese masem kichwa bi a meka kire krom ha Ghana for a lawyer for ni nyina ne se ekro ye dia koye emma unity lawyer ni nyina no enka omuhumom to say ye kunu mu ade baako because omudon ekuo ebinom nyai pini no say obi ma wo ho meye adwuma and say wunia lawyer and because we need to call law firm no but it's a bibi twa mo kabom na mo say listen adie we egu ya adwuma no one mo kan say ya adwuma yeso yakosu akosua eno no nti mo mayenyi mo mayen tin time bone na ewo ye ho no and tin time a say Ghana for lawyer no se obi beka se lawyer we ayem say ya na semra kwan da ho a lawyer no nka wo muhumom at a law firm no na omunyi boniefo no emfirim because a papa for ho ye can lawyers are etie sene omu fa ho se de wo se lawyer da ko ye one ye nyina etie ye manipa ba eho obi ani wa ya introduce na ma lawyer da ko a obeka se me nkra saa nye yie wo kwa se nye yie okate o se mata enye yie emfa nko ba bi ma ye nji wiska entino ebeye yie a obeka agi atro na ade ba ko a me pen wo lawyer da ko no ho se wo hu se wo betimi ni home office boss any the secretary atremanso a wudi ejai na fama no se wudi ama no ka cho so de mam little time ni ankasa me no mu bedile a me no mu bedile because me kai sir oye aduma bi ma me na ade o mu de bai o kwasi ni nua ba enkasa me te ha na ade ne bai etumle bi a home office boss and the secretaries and everybody know etumle bi o mu wake up ye obi wo kura na wanya kwan ne ne yire anye sulala into what the pressure ni nyina ba tena dwumbo into nya pata na wo press wo fale ko ko ba ne mu pe nie wono pe en wo betro de abre wo lawyer muntie ye nipa ye yi lawyer ni siri wa lawyer da ko ye nipa the mistake no no aye obesort say ye home office so no betwen no ma sort munjai se bi problem kitwa bi ba na wa follow ya da kudin na de atua wa no te set tria pia na wo di nam kroma na wo say one me na kan masam say se wo kasa tia wo bi nyina so a emfre wurade no enyina nti se wo kasa tia wo bi e wa wontere abra ni padom na nim se no lawyer da ko o ye true lawyer wo kan kure odi no kure wukono hono a enyigiso obagije so je ni ma lawyers ni bebra wukono hono a o hwe ohune wa appearance kura na otimi ka che oteni sika wuntimi afford ye ni nipa ye dia ma lawyer da ko a ye ka buo ne kire wa obaka se na lawyer da ko ye adwuma na so de tete lawyer da ko timi di adwuma ni bi che ye nim wade tanya se bia wanya ne ho but e wi ase no etomre bi a wo tire wonsam ema amobrofo ni abefa we kwa we susu asere mo se ye sere mo mo de ne ka bia wo Yesu din mo mfa ne sika mre no me pa mo chawala mo adawro ma mfa ne sika mre no no so nya bi enfantia office ne ne secretary worker no wonya hoden famra maye adwuma na se ye koye mpasone mo empaye pamfa ma ne ye bompaye bone kan wo se ni tipa na o fale na beda ho amenhuhuo abaso nti ukwa de wuntimi nya hwe ma lawyer da ko no o ye ja wosru di wuntimi de ohene da ko ba wanim awurade bo no ho ban
amen
kura ye ne ye awurade sane ya ne because of me fale da na ni munti wo de bompa ye we sa na tire obi okola ya da ko anse fagidie abotre na pompai bo etomre bi afampai bo ka ho wo frɛ wo sɛ ye refuse ukura na katira ono lawyer da ko sɛ lawyer minim bi otimi ye intino go for it for me and nyame intino ebeye ye bibia ko ta eye gidie momma yenjai ni din sɛ ye ni yenjai a lawyer fo bin din sɛ ye na din sɛ ye bebrebe no Ghana fo emfa ye nkɔ ba bia wo ba anya lawyer bi a wunim so we you be a lawyers good lawyers atoma if di nejai na bia na wo bebi be choose lawyer ni bi na nkofo se bi besi asopa no wo ya ma no wo ya papa wo yem besew na ne meka nyina se me de me nyum be chato nte esie ni kaja ni asida arefie wo ni pa ho uti da me paya me se mi remfi papa wa ya me esie ni kaja ni asida arefie wo nipa ho ade ba ko na mesre ne se me remfi papa wa ya me se me bon ko meki na me mane wa Ghana anto anam la ya da toto ana me se me kuta citizen into wa wo be kwa wadwuma anya yie no ya besre wa senya botre ya yin short no o ya lawyer but o yobi wo o yobi nana o yobi kunu o yobi papa into yen show that respect any die and for money, so wabu trentino, now quano up a town for Hick and Wagene, yes, sir, oh, Yami won't shroud. Oh, yes, sir, when near Manaswan and a Baya and Regina. Into Mestre Ghana for Mommy and Cansampa, and fire young crop on her. Near yet, Denya, ye Ghana for ye yet, Denya, ye dear cops, the Ghana. Into no obio same crime, Lebiano, Libiamis, no be our Cansampa. Epe lawyer da ko so onyame mpega no onyame mani nyekete onyame mani nkole ni baby biala wo begina babo lawyer da ko di no onyame mani a wo ye nyina no enkosoro adum ni nti amen
na come with question ma so mejai na mo question ma pa because so start here no o kan ayibi ma ntiase papa na o say home office for no obu ha oye dey o ye na time na you see no man tiase na pese me tia ade o kan na say but e be fa ne sa
ebi ya ma obi wo ho no ma lakatula na no ne yira
enne de ba sa time no no me tiase enne de la sulala enso ne ye de ba de la sulala e de ba de
pamiko jawali
o si suhum sawam
ede
suhum sawam
any twaso because the okay first no kram anti ase and also go to whom sawam enya de any confuse me more
sa o se akweso bi ka se ejo so onwe
ya da wasi ozofu mame ya da wasi pa
edwa bisana ya educate ye home because no can or you right in the sense say sometimes no inipa obi kodi bone na o generalizing na aya emwa ana o say ade no you are telling other foreigners say don't go to a Ghanaian lawyer ebi so aso person oba be lawyer ni bi na afi wo kwa na say wo ba enti yenye careful wo hono yenko na yemfa mama boat wa be lande wa chepa
ane mama boat manenkwai
lawyer na da mi na dia ejapa o semte ya na dia jadi aya o jaga mo
Oche Damo Lancho. Oh. Wait here. Sao. Spiritus Santos. Yeah, Joso.
Yeah, omo back in na mtia obia. Oya na energy swag no enye yi crowd.
So
obi assessing say ene lawyer nye yi na o church no so bow na ankata no anointing no a odi te ho na enye yi.
That's good.
Nyame na yo.
Nyame
no what what kind. What me akini time ama papa Selina etumi edidi aba
oh yes.
Wow.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Any dear ya swati yankasa ya di yenta so ena ya na ebi ho adanse ena ya na ebi ho adanse enti ene ni pamenu na abeka o maten se eba ni se eba obi pabe obi antimi meka ba ku menu bi eba so na mo hu se ampa asempa ni e kan se wo ye Ghana ni uche kropu kwa kini sede obi aba ye dino but yenti aya na meka na me ta tire ye ku mu fo ne mo ne se ye ko ada lawyer no wa omu ti ku kata omu ti ni ni e ma won ti asem na ti e ju bo jo kata ko fa do kunu bra no akwa ko fa ba yi e ye ji ye o ti kan bi ba ku ene do kunu
and free I know.
Lawyer, or what is the Emma was here. Emma will be a assembly for your papa Necatano. Oh, dear, sorry, and said you more dignity, I'm more dignity for no time. A whole charge of the amount here, so charge of how to not charging 2,000. But you are lawyer on show what a man, I think you are able to know their card. On which is any one. And you know, I mean, some of Fanny and my family.
It was super. Mama Boo.
Sir?
And so yede oba bayo yede oba Elliot buy abe East Pie oh watch dantie ai yete no nema enkwala ni ntie de okan no mankwala ni ntie is for the youth ai Mate take care why that's a p
any yonko Hertfordshire na yonko fa Oman hene kwabena ofori oye Solomon papa ba kope. Hello.
Oman hene kasa.
Pastor Adulezo.
Edu so Oman hene kasa.
Yo.
Na nemo dum. Ucha. Fire. Oja. Adamo butu. Keep on burning the fire in your spirit.
Yes. Before me start the biano. As me so me share kirano. Me kan dem si etiani na me so manya new slogan bi. Obi biara wa ba Jesus and Lord biara ya ka say Jesus and Lord no waje so freedom.
Oh, that's good. But lower wa fidie no. Why?
Mini radio for me to come grana.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. And obi there be another caller. What the kasa?
Okay. The freedom ama justice and law no. And it's obi biara ba ko justice and law biara no. Na ipa kon o problem.
Oh yes.
Almost 99% no. Ebe ko biara no biara how are they called now? Do not have a quiet corner. Yana Gideon Crano. Sometimes something like it's impossible. Now, so go do just one law, not when you're freedom. Okay, make me NGI. Me catch you.
Oh, yeah, Joso.
Me catch you. And I put it to me to get you. I know where. Yo. Some of them are going to be a mama boat, and I'm a
one.
Mama boat, but we are Michao. Oh, you're not going to push him in the bar. And lawyer, sit about last now for a committee in a board, no, you're very simple. As I know, I'm afraid
no committee. Oh, the Majumum Diana.
Yes, sir.
Aye.
I'm refugee.
You didn't say.
You're
okay, make me channel.
Aye.
So, I car. I did not say call committee and by for being also, for some reason, many agent, okay, no, the automatic. You will be a Michiano. Okay. Yo. Now, I was there. Okay, I know can be said. adwene ya me dia ma no wo de mpa ye ta akira okay ka de ma si ani etima wo tumi dwema nipa foforo ana se de efiri ani mu a eba se ehu edin na wagina yie nti eba a utumi so ano
that's right
na enokre na me so bi be ka wo se wo po mpo nyame afra wo odo uni nyame telephone number na so nyame afra me so mu kana dawo de sei yewo asofu bebre a omo di tu wono mo se omo ye amade o nyame di mu omo sa yare o nyame di mu enso okokon no ti a ayare fo ma okoji a ayare fo ma kolebu ayare fo ma yewo ni fo na asosie suku nyina Ghana enso omo nyina go so so bi enu wa watima akwa akosa afo nyina yare enso de bi omo so yare na wo hwede ya wutimi ye obi be jima ye ready so on project and law akora ade ana nyi na adwinum na onyi ni se eba be si okodru na la ko trasia na ka se di ona men tra di bi ade papa ade a onu nim se be ye mfia na anya se mfia mi enu na obetimi bi handle sa issue no na ya de 50 minutes I do not solve the problem no any magic ana na be magic dia ay magic dia why me bet my magic I am free nyame me ka magic babo any magic bone I am free nyame e di nyame afro bi ya do bi a wo bi ajuhu tin se nyame afro odo wo ngwa mopo na so me ka se nyame afro me da say nyame afro amai yo me wa question nkokoro mi no ba ko ni say me le nye si your friends no entesemu na o chechere no ya Ghana fo bi ya de be say abiko be ka do mo ye racist na nipa o ye adwuma no kunu na mo je tax na mo di but mra o fo mra wa fo mra mra na ye ni zura ni jire ye kuro edinjumbo na nka kanta na wo gold diamond bauxite manganese you name it the dia of your exercise so na nka na ya sa edinjumbo enti mra na ye ni so nti me say tie fo wa ba tie ba je beto say no de ngoboni ya na omo amfa kwamba so me so say so hwem dia o mane mra ye mra o ti say na o to bi aye o do ba say da ho ti ma ye do metim dia e mo de mra ba yo omo class mpani one class edwin ho e say ni enti a I was say oni pe da ni bia o ye 48 and you also do be 50 over ba fo mra no ana ade go mu bia so kwa na o man kan say no o mo say ma so fede no ko na ko ye hu yie for up to this time na bra me just o pe asomdwe dia o ba ti mra na say enti da me fine no so bizarre say ye ba ne say Sasem ka se me self employed I will UK na se bia ma gimu in future ana se o che bi me sesa me ko British ana se me ye naturalization no that question a bit ma ba na as a self employed no any number of hours I say we dey adwuma no no bit ma chia o bit ma chia ba visa
yes I mean but ekromo no omo e wo that flexibility ekruma so you obi adwuma mpo a utimi ye awasi bia wo pebia provided they say you have the capacity to do it enti no say employer no ebemo wa sign BBFN opting out of the working time directive because the working time directive will give you a maximum of 48 hours enti say especially when you security adwuma no nyina ye momo science opt out no that means they can do more than what the directive says you should do. And Tekruma they perfectly okay. But France now ye a bit strict. So they don't want people to work more hours. Because one fee say your well-being and your ability to be able to do other things is also important. Such as family life. And to Oko Continental, you will see say a bit more relaxed sort of attitude. Ekruma debia say ubi de aba e de gu su chase you. So enti bebreba almost say the Ekruma we should the enti bi ntina yes akọ. Entia sana kwa
sanity.
Okay, I want my dear the okay because o che was my question is say me self employed. Me am adwuma.
Yeah.
Na se bi o che bi my imagine be say me change my identity na me koye British no say everybody says okay say you can there's no cap and no one was actually that's right say cap that's why and also that cap for only employees another self-employed kwano a bit more common.
Say ne nyame da so ne kruma de me sure so be jetim am na ba da so da because we are self-employed a ye edding a ye dwuma edding pa. One, you have to go and look for the business. In your business now, you have to do it, and you have to do it well. Plus, a car will be bought to do the business now. And it's easy.
Sir, lawyer, the thing is, we are self-employed now. You can say you do 48 hours because nobody knows what you do. Nobody knows what hours you are working.
Yes,
because so now you're self-employed. What you say? Also, here always 100 hours cramping and you'll be asking, well, no cramp and you open crowd will sacrifice, you know, it's not part of your legal contractual hours. However, the open hour, open crowd bit make us 2 hours.
I'm answer.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, but I can last one.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, let's say my adwuma bi na adwuma no 3 months probation no bia me wie na me ma gese adwuma no me nya bio but ya ma holiday and this is ya sa claim no me sa obi se bibi sa atme ana se me nya bio otie na se bia ba se wakoye adwuma 3 months ba bi ne wanko holiday so se robert ma go claim ana
a bit dependent on the contracts I was signing, you know. But from my general knowledge, you know, when you are on a probationer, normally holiday doesn't come into play. So because any part of the employment, and therefore, no, from probation period, you know, they are working you out whether you be fit to do the job. And normally, you know, probation, you know, it doesn't really count. But a bit depending on contract now on the probation contract, you know. And you be determined whether you be entitled to any holiday or not. If we're entitled to holiday about me, so you can go and get it. But if we're not entitled to it, and the key is the agreement, the terms, what was agreed before you started the probation, and then it be decided. In law, there is nothing to say we probation at Yema holiday. No, you have to be an employee under the Employment Rights Act to be able to accumulate holidays.
So what you say?
I am last call and I feel me in run away and say time for Christ the Livingstone time pa. Mammy what my was a belandi uncle.
Lawyer Dalcomeda was say na why are they the mention na Ubia we are there we are here because who share emotion now with the one you are very happy and only here. Now we are very happy. We are there or come and my ye.
That's right.
Ntino so when you happy when you happy there when you na mo hwe di pay osi ho ene nsem a ekoso ya nipa no very happy ya me na ye adwuma no ma enti se bia obeba ho bia opeso obesa adwuma no ye di Yesu din twam enye o se pa na fire so abre pa wa bre fire so I brain. I'm a samba when we say, will be 40 hours. Let it be your friend said the overtime, the over. Yeah, pressure is a customer need. Say you have to come customer, you know. Not just in a sense, you know, wait to me a claim holiday pay.
Yes.
Now more pressure.
That's right. Because case law na abano actually say any overtime biano. It must be incorporated into your holiday calculation. Most of the employers are not aware of this. And we are beneficiary no. When I say option or margin basso, said they are omit me a calculate account. Why?
Where the DJ the said my bar or no said my bar no better than the omlamity and no.
Okay. DJ D so overtime power. DJ D so overtime power.
Was in a people tree war. I feel they are reporting on my manager said you to ordinary Chiraco. I'm so tired. Look at the age I am. Okay. Into the club, I can't.
Yeah, that was it.
I'm a tourist, you are meeting and catch it. Catch the program, be play Cosso or Mrasso. Invite now.
Okay.
Last week, no positive fee.
So for some reason, your rent fee. Say, nipa be 7 craft remi. I complaining. Your rent fee say be so. Now, minim why na course na Emma. I honestly don't know why. enti me kura na me say positive ba me attack no say na mo ringe ana wan fa na Debbie na ni rain fee but for some reason na Pastor Dua was prepared to say was bompaye emma entiefo bi but
was very powerful.
yeah me pie no nipa 7 the frame ya omo say omo fresh obi anyewe including you and I'm see you I was there but there was nothing you can't blame positive it wasn't coming through.
I'm saying machine so no say who operating ya enya de be ye adwuma enti no say ye na ye adwuma ana ewia na enumre no so bi so be ye show ni nyina so so ebai enti no ye metie yukra no me kasa na se me de ato enso na me kasa ense na madwene ba me no amahu say say me de ato off enti no sometimes the nipa na am press the right button and also timi cause so confusion sesi aye ka se nkrofo afre bibra tete eko enye se bia ya sheda but mutia etimi enwatimi ekate obi ni obi die timi hia obi timi ni obi die hia obohu se a breaki enti no there's nothing that anyone can do about it enti you should bear with us mana machine si de nipa anything can happen at any time enti akọ wrong na ya attention ba so say if there's a problem we look into it and we fix it enti no yadamasipi enti am say last person about so enti ne yemfa na ne yanko 4044 hello.
Oh, hi. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, me Selena Junior.
Selena Junior.
Hey, Selena Junior.
Question. Selena Junior. No quick question, be maybe sir.
Okay.
About program and lawyer, yeah. No, can be about say, worry EU nationals, maybe omuni hobby. But our no mungu. The question is, what worry European national? Now would you know what's it now, Krumha? Now say be a bad no, be man, and as you say, be a me free many a man, so benefits when you're not to Masino Bunipano. Now you see, and I ever be free European Union. Omu divorce. Ancients on Sobe and a bit me about myself. And I did to see about France national and I say France citizenship and I'll compare with now. Almost denying me personally, I don't think say a beer and confirm the races. Now, no, if it's a Kumhana, you know. Some said in Pedia, you know, a beer, a young cat, a cemetery. You have afraid man fire when it's me here, Gumano. And the bedroom that I said, Ubenya Krata Nati Bibino. No, already they said, when were you? And a die can standard of living, a boy being hashing. Into Boa, a Juma obey 8 hours and empty me in Piana Dika. And don't you be a Yamubi Breno, you couldn't was a Yagma, but it's a Kaoshima, a radio pharmacy out your way, Unimupan, Sabi, Unipa, Sabio, Obio Ye Juma. Kakra otiminya enough rest at that channel or one holding oni che eche obi a yetimi ye adwuma ebi asem wo hwa anadwuma kra no oye anadwuma cha according to researchers by 15 years to come no ubenya side effect bi ne say sabio obi oye anadwuma bia no wan hwe ya wo yera obi be na ho adwuma ma o makọ sabe omontembe dey ebetiche enti na duma na ye no na me de me fe say wake up call e de ma ye mu bi no say eduma ye no esese yetimi e wo mu si ye piska sika de obi anka say nye no money no honey but ebe ya say ye be piska ni nyina so no wan hwe ya no wasa piska no e be sa ho ya de enti na hours no ebe wi asese ya na ye ka no obu o be fe so sebio emrofo de sebe wo magimi na ye ba be ye adwuma apisika ma mukro na eye dem say me passet na won fama me but omo boa yen e wo ya ho de mu because we ye adwuma fa ne se obi akoye adwuma 24 hours na se wo sore ka so nsan koye adwuma foforo na obi koye adwuma 8 hours mo mi elu gina ho sisi ya na mo mi no no wana na ho de nke ho ne so na e se ye hwe ni ye e ye futu ma ye nyina e wo sika na wo nya e bia we had my overtime, unya 4,000. Obi so nya overtime, onya be abaye 1,500, 2,000, no tiana da ka no year. Mama mo by 20 years. Why year? Obetna wo chemo. No. Or yet less hours. And they want them you know. My question is
no question.
Okay, yeah, that's it. I mean, basically, say you're free move without a dealer, and no, it is so much uncertainty. Ebebano, Boris Johnson, who is likely to be the prime minister, or no account will say 31st of October, whether we like it or not, whether there is a deal or no deal, we will simply jump off the cliff. The BCBR NC, and no, it will bring so much uncertainty. Now, what the UK doesn't want, and they say, whereby Abia no Baneja Usuno, Abia not started divorce, or Abia fancy or Germany was started divorce or Germany, also started the same divorce or UK, whereby once a German court will come to different decision. Now also so UK court has come to different jurisdiction, different decision. Now afe akwakofa problem baba in terms of international law. And he say other country now so you see divorce certificate now which one is going to be acceptable. And it can bring too much chaos. And when Tina there is a problem, potential problem. As a UK government is likely to say free kromwa ma u divorce untimi nyeni kromwa period. And to Ghana ni or Germany near u divorce ko Germany and so Ghana koye. And so back of in simpiaba. And some bit media ba say oya customary marriage na your customary divorce u yusu no kromwa almost say omunyintu by virtue of section 42B of Family Law Act of 1986, and also so requirement to hold IFN recognition of foreign divorces. And to say want me to certify certain requirement, customary divorce no munyintum requirement ni be say before say divorce certificate ni be issue no just say obane bema no atena Ghana for 12 months. And when you evidence just one obane tena Ghana for 12 months ajegon omu enyintum eba kofa e how bebre na aba. And so ni nipa no avare na atinkesin atija na so be so jaidia ene nani ekine shasi ne tu anamo ne ye divorce no na in free honomo de metimi akana no so pe further information and as more details we betimi book appointment no ba be hu ye na you taking it from there. You taking Christ the Livingstone time 1 hour too much enti ntwaso na also enti memra ya da mase bi Christ the Livingstone asafo ene monto wase amunyama ye da bia obi so de afidi ato otimitie yin yakopon enhiramo ye ko ye besa babak sisi antu notification button na fako Facebook na enti ye twa ye ho abasisi ya enti no yara masipi next week ye besai ayede ye besai abebiem enti Mr. Selina we ekoma Fire Life
she run up Sami Gidio
Fire Life
oh me woni amiko she run up
Fire Life Fire Life Fire Life Fire Life Fire Life Fire Life